News organizations have long used material that's been stolen and leaked. The Pentagon Papers.
I can no longer cooperate in concealing this information from the American public.
WikiLeaks.
The website WikiLeaks dumped thousands of classified documents.
The Edward Snowden disclosures. Lots of people have tried to stop them, but protected by a determination of newsworthiness, the media has remained relatively untouchable. And if there's anything to be learned from the whole Sony mess, it's that the cloak of newsworthiness is becoming all the more impenetrable.
And the leaks are embarrassing, with producers and executives speaking their minds about Hollywood stars and now even the president.
There have been plenty of arguments against the publishing of emails from the Sony hack. Most hinge on the assumption that they offer little value as far as the general public is concerned.
Is there anything in these emails at all that's in the public interest, that points to wrongdoing at the company, that helps anyone in any way? There isn't.
But that argument begins to fall apart when considering the age of digital duplication.
Media outlets are going to say, hey, it doesn't matter how it came into our hands, the public has a right to know what goes on in this very important industry.
Today, there are more publications than ever that focus on niche content and niche audiences, infinitely broadening the scope of what can be considered newsworthy. Reporting on emails between Sony execs might not make sense for a Washington Post or New York Times, but for Variety, a publication centered on professional relationships in Hollywood, it makes perfect sense.
To me, this is Hollywood's Edward Snowden moment.
Of course, Variety isn't new, but the extent of its reach is, and the same goes for many others, essentially ensuring what's happening to Sony is going to keep happening. And it's not just because the definition of newsworthy is getting wider, but also because the distribution of digital data is getting easier, accessible to anyone with a laptop.
Every time we post a selfie, search the web, or buy a product online, we sacrifice some personal space for the convenience or connection.
But there's an important distinction to make. Not all leaked information is the same, nor is reporting on it always okay, especially when personal data is involved, like social security numbers or naked pictures. But that's not the case with Sony. The leaks reveal professional dealings that do affect other people. And if information is there for the taking, it's going to be taken far and wide, and no amount of lawyers will be able to stop it. But for larger publications, Sony withholding access to big stars may matter more than legal action. And the studio may find its threats will have more weight if they back it up with Daniel Craig instead of a subpoena.